Say hello, Mylo. Hey, what are you doing? Yes, this is the crazy rescue dog that we rescued about 2 weeks ago. This is Mylo. Oh, what's up, YouTube? Corey of All Trades. I'm gonna come out here and give you an update on my chicken coop and garden area that we have been working on for the last couple weeks to get ready and get planted and everything else. Last time I was out here with the chicken coop, I had the house itself built with the baby chickens in it. Now you can see some of the chickens there running for the hills because of the crazy dog. Since then we've gotten the pen done, the run done, excuse me. Put a 1/2 inch by 1 inch hardware cloth on it to keep the bad critters out like raccoons and foxes and crazy rescue dogs. Ran a electrical extension cord out here to run the lights that I've put on a timer. They come on every morning at 6, go off every night at 8:30, and that will be constant. Have the feeders and waters in place and full of good food and water for the chickens. Been really hot here the last couple days, so the chickens went through that whole 5-gallon bucket in about 4 days, but through the 9 of them. So, and here they come out of the chicken coop to check things out until the dog comes around the corner. That's the, I can't pronounce it, it's a Leghorn. Proper name starts with an E. Got a Rhode Island Red there on the coop ramp. Australorp over there. And then this brown one that's in between the 2 Rhode Island Reds is another Leghorn variety that's just called a brown Leghorn. So in total we got 9 chickens here. I got 5 white egg layers and 4 brown egg layers. You can see some of the additions to the chicken coop up there. Got some signs to put up. And although there are no fresh eggs yet, hopefully in a couple months there will start being eggs in the chicken coop. These chickens, as of this last Monday, are 8 or 9 weeks old. So now the other project that we started, basically the chicken run is just 2x4 construction, pressure treated of course, with the half inch by 1 inch mesh hardware cloth. I don't know how well you can pick that up, but that's what I've got up there. I think it's a 14 gauge, maybe it's a 14 gauge wire mesh cloth. Picked it up off of Amazon, got a 75-foot roll for, I want to say right around $100. So the next project we worked on is getting our garden put in, and we put a garden fence around it to keep crazy rescue dog out, Mylo, who's over there right now sniffing around, and also to help try and keep the rabbits out of here, because last time we planted a garden the rabbits came in and tore up our green bean plants before they even had a chance to grow, basically. So we lost about half of our green bean plants the first couple weeks because of rabbits. Put the gate together over the weekend. The arbor my wife had, this was a gift that her mother had got her a long time ago. It was just laying in the yard, so we decided to use it as the entrance to the garden. Right now we've got water hose running out here from the house. Hopefully I'll be able to change that, put a spool garden cart with a 100-foot hose over by the greenhouse so that I don't have to run a hose all the way across the yard just to get water out here. As you can see, we put down mulch in between the square foot garden beds. Ran out of the bright yellow masonry line that you can see on some of the beds, and had, with what I had in the garage, was this it was a wax coated cotton kite string type stuff mason line. That's what I finished up with. I used what I had on hand. The boxes were built out of reclaimed deck boards that I picked up from a guy who was going to take them to the dump and toss them. So I didn't spend everything that I used on the garden beds to build them, as far as the wood, the mason lines. That's all stuff I had on hand here. The soil's a different story. Last year I spent most of the money getting together the vermiculite and the peat moss. This year we picked up the compost, mixed it all together, and spent Saturday and Sunday 2 weeks ago filling garden beds. We got everything planted out over the weekend, this past weekend, and on Monday. So everything's planted out now. You can see there I've got tomato plants. Maybe you can see them. And then here we've went ahead and picked up starts for the peppers, and we've got green, red, and yellow bell peppers, and over there we have some sweet banana peppers, and on the end here is one that's called a jalapeno. It's supposed to be a jalapeno flavored pepper without all the heat. So we figured we'd give that a try this year. I like salsa. I like mild salsa. I don't like it really super hot, so figured we give those a try. Usually do pretty good with the banana peppers. Usually get a ton of freaking banana peppers out of a couple plants, so that's all we planted. The rest of this bed has got peas on the other side of the pepper plants, and lettuce, carrots, and radishes here. Here we have potatoes and more carrots there. In this bed we have peas, the peppers, and wife loves beets, so the rest of this bed is all beets. This bed over here is our bean bed. We have green, waxed, and purple and burgundy beans here. Again, peas and peppers, and broccoli along this side here is all 4 broccolis, and then here we have 8 cabbage plants that should be coming up. This bed over here is the squash bed. I've got 2 zucchini and 2 of the yellow summer squash in there. This bed over here is tomatoes, lettuce, spinach, and cucumbers. Yeah, cucumbers. I had to remember what we planted. This one over here, we've got a watermelon, takes up these 6 squares here. That's the plant, but I left everything around it so that when it grows out, it won't have any problems with the other stuff. Right here we put in more lettuce. Over there in these 3 squares we've got peas, and down here we have onions starts. So that's basically the garden. Oh, and outside the garden we've got a couple of boxes with mulch in them. This box here has got blueberry bush in it, and that one over there has got a thornless blackberry bush. Over Memorial Day weekend I was out here and I built This, again, mostly out of reclaimed stuff. I think that I think the only thing that I actually purchased that was used in the construction of the compost bin were 2 6-foot 4x4s that I cut in half for the legs. Everything else was reclaimed from the same deck boards, and the 4x4 in the middle that I cut in half is actually reclaimed from that same person that was getting rid of the deck boards. So almost everything there, pretty much stuff I had on hand. You can see the extra fence posts that I've got up there because I bought 15 and we only needed 10 for the garden fence. I'm going to use those to put trellising in over there for the tomatoes and the cucumbers, and over there for the watermelon and possibly the peas to use. For the peas down here, I'm going to put together trellising from that stuff over there. And for those of you who do not know what that stuff is, that is the neighbor's bamboo that has invaded my yard. Every couple of years I take my loppers out there and I cut a bunch of it down and throw in a pile and try and keep it in check. Between running the mower back there and lopping it down every couple of years, I've been keeping it from taking over the entire back area of our yard past the fence, the chain link fence here. So I'm going to build trellises for the peas out of the bamboo and some netting that I bought. And now we're going to come over here and let me tell you about this right here. This is the grave of our dog Sam that we had for 16 years, that on May 4th had to be put to sleep because he woke up that morning coughing up blood. The vets think that he possibly may have had cancer or something similar. We never did have him tested for it because at the time that they thought he was going to be diagnosed with it, he was 16 years old and he was a husky mix. He too was a rescue that we had almost his entire life. So he had a good life. He lived with us for 15 years. It was the first thing that my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and I got together. So he will forever be buried out here in the garden next to the vegetables and stuff. We have a stone for him that we're going to put on top of his grave. So I'm dedicating this video to Sam the husky that was a very, very good dog. Anyway, YouTube, that's pretty much it. That's a walk through the garden area over here. We plan on this year putting in probably 8 more boxes. Doubt I'll plant them this year, but I'm planning on getting 8 more boxes put in on this end of the garden. And then either this year or next year, I'll put in 8 more boxes right along here where these mulch bags are sitting, all the way up to the garden fence back here where I'm standing now. So total, this garden, by the time I get done with it, should have 24 3x6 boxes for square foot garden stuff. Whether or not I stick with square foot gardening or whether I go to the Eden style garden with just using the mulch, or whether I go with I can't even remember the name of the other style now, where the soil really doesn't matter. All they worry about is the fertilizer and the trace elements that you put in the soil for the plants to grow. I haven't decided yet, but that's where the garden stands this year, and we're going to give this a shot and see how well it does. So anyway, thanks for watching, YouTube. Appreciate it. As always, Thank you so much for watching the videos and leaving constructive comments. I appreciate it, and I try and make my videos better based on the comments that I see. So, but there you have it. This is the garden and chicken coop update video from Corey of All Trades. Thanks a lot. God bless.